It's Scott Mills with you until 4 today. Thank you very much to all the freshers I met at the weekend. In my life, I've been fortunate enough to do many amazing things, from Strictly to abseiling, even my everyday job. It's all depended on my body and its movement. My mum Sandra was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2007. It's a condition which affects the central nervous system and can get worse over time. And seeing her struggle to cope with it has made me learn to appreciate every day. That's why I want to tell you about the MS Trust, a charity working hard to help people just like my mum deal with the challenging world of MS. This is Natasha. She's 37 and lives with her husband Mark and 2 sons, London and Dion.
I used to love dancing, riding my bike. Me and my husband used to love going for really long walks along the beach.
But 4 years ago, Natasha received a shattering diagnosis of multiple sclerosis.
It was of a winter time. My right leg had gone extremely numb. I could see my foot was touching the floor, but I couldn't feel the floor underneath. I'd literally lost function from the waist down.
Natasha was taken to hospital for tests, and 6 weeks later, the doctors confirmed she had lesions on her brain and spinal cord. She was diagnosed with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis.
I'm now fully wheelchair bound from all the relapses. I'm also bladder and bowel incontinent as well. It's simple things that we take for granted, picking up a cup, even holding your knife and fork. It changes things like that in life.
I came home from work on Sunday night about 11:30 and she was wedged between the bed and the wardrobe and she'd been there for hours. I said, "Why didn't you phone me?" And she said, "What can you do?"
As their lives began to change, Natasha and Mark realised they needed help understanding how to cope with her MS. Bye. And more importantly, how to help their 2 sons understand the disease. That's where the MS Trust came in, and they sent the family child-friendly information books and DVDs.
The support from the MS Trust has really helped me to have the right knowledge to be able to explain to my children what the future may hold. I think if you have a good understanding of something, you can cope with things so much better.
An MS diagnosis can be a lot to get your head around. Coming to terms with its symptoms, the treatment options available, and of course, the fact that you'll have the condition for the rest of your life. Which is why the MS Trust need your help now. They're committed to not only train, but also fund more MS specialist nurses like John, who help to support and guide patients.
I don't see my job as a job, I see it more of a vocation.
John is a specialist nurse in Leicester, an area the MS Trust recognised as being severely lacking in MS nurses.
Patients are often referred to us straight after their diagnosis because it's often a very scary time for patients on this very confusing illness.
Okay? Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you.
Good
How
to
have you
see
been?
again.
Am I right to take a seat?
Yeah, help yourself, no charge.
No, that's very kind of you.
Mates rates, yeah.
We've been able to bring in those patients that we previously may not have seen beforehand. How have you been?
Pretty steady of late, but I've had 1 or 2 other problems.
I like to think of us being an extra person in someone's corner fighting against multiple sclerosis.
Previous to John, there was very little, if any, contact, but having John gives me that amount of comfort. I don't quite know what I'd do without him.
Not only does John carry out home visits to people like David, he and his colleagues also run clinics at Leicester General Hospital, something Jenna, who was diagnosed when she was 21, has been able to benefit from.
John's been in my life for the past year. I feel really grateful that I can see him as often as I have. My neurologist appointments are almost talk business, it's talk about scans and talk about medication. And when I'm talking to John, it's more of a friendly conversation. And having that extra person, it just means that you've got that person that's there, that's friendly, that cares. And I honestly believe that any support that John's given me is the most valuable that I've received.
Having nurses like John available is so important to people with multiple sclerosis, And in the next 12 months, the charity hopes to have a further 10 nurses available in areas around the UK that are most in need. Not only did the charity fund nurses, they also operate a dedicated phone line from their head office, which deals with inquiries people may have about MS.
When people are diagnosed with MS, our experience is that they're pretty shocked by that. And we know that we need to be in place to provide the support as much as possible. We can't make things go away, we haven't got a magic wand, but we think if we can put the nurses in place and give people the right sort of information, they can make the best possible decisions and have the best possible quality of life.
MS is indiscriminate in who it affects, but it's almost 3 times more common in women than in men, and due to its complexity, can take months or even years to diagnose. Tim was 31 when he began to experience symptoms, and his diagnosis was anything but straightforward.
Great running, well done.
I started thinking something might be wrong and took myself to my GP, but ultimately he referred me to a neurologist who examined me, and nobody wants to give you any answers. It was then for me a 4-year journey towards getting a definitive diagnosis. They call that limbo land. When you actually hear the words, you know what it is, you've got a label and you can start to deal with that. What the MS Trust has on their website is a decisions tool that helps run you through what the possible options are and what might work best for you.
Before his diagnosis, Tim was an avid runner, but had to stop because of symptoms of fatigue. Through the help of the MS Trust, Tim has now managed to get his life back on track, fight through fatigue, and begin running again.
I had a sports specialist tell me that I'd probably never run over 10 kilometres, and I'm currently training for my 5th marathon, all of them done since my diagnosis. It gave me the determination because MS could stop me, but I refused to let it stop me.
With the support of the charity, Natasha, with the help of her family, decided to make more of her life, and she entered into a new career.
Love you loads too.
When I was first diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was very overweight. So I went on to lose 12 stone. Not only have I lost 12 stone, I've now gone on to be a consultant myself. And I just love what I do because it's helping others. Multiple sclerosis is what I've got, but it's not who I am.
There's around 110,000 people living with multiple sclerosis in Britain, and from my own experience, it's heartbreaking seeing someone you love cope with it. That's why I'm so grateful to charities like the MS Trust for providing such vital services. And with your help today, they can support people just like Natasha and Tim and fund more nurses like John. So please, dig deep and donate whatever you can. To make a donation, please go to the website support.mstrust.org.uk/BBC. If you want to donate by phone, then call 01462 476 707. Or if you would like to post a donation, please make your cheque payable to MS Trust and send it to MS Trust, Spirella Building, Bridge Road, Letchworth, Herts, SG6 4ET. Thank you so much.